So anything that I have on me, once I've been made aware of it, then isn't it my responsibility to not act that way and not to blame him?
Sure. I mean, yeah, we're not
Sure.
So you can say we're surviving, we're doing it in jest, but in all honesty, I think Dad did the best that he could
I agree.
with what he had, and I think he was really, I don't know. I can make up a bunch of stuff and say, well, I think and I feel that this is probably, I don't know any of it. I don't know why he is the way that he is, or the way that he was for all those years, because I think he paid a bigger price than any of us of being isolated from us.
Mm.
certainly possible. But then that would require him to have feelings.
I think he does have feelings,
I do too.
but he doesn't show them. And I think because whatever happened made him so guarded.
Yeah.
That he just,
Very guarded.
yeah, that so he'll push you away. He's not going to get involved.
He,
I don't really care. I'm not going to think about that. Stuff like that.
he'll divert your thoughts to, I got a job.
Yeah.
He always brings that in. That's his protection.
It makes him uncomfortable.
Yeah. So whenever he's uncomfortable, he'll start talking about making a living.
So that's
Yeah.
pretty much all the time then.
Yeah.
Because he's rarely comfortable.
But I think that we went all together to that lake, Navajo, I think is what it was.
Like
And-
Navajo.
And that was a really good time. But Tyler got up. Tyler and Trent were with us as well, and Grandpa. And Tyler got up and said, "Okay, I'm done peopling. Good night." And I think your dad is a lot like that, but he never knew how to say, "Okay, I'm done peopling." Good night, and excuse himself. He would just disappear.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's a major introvert when it comes to people.
I don't know. How could you be a salesman and an introvert?
Oh, good question. Good thought.
Because he did a lot
What
of sales.
drives him? Yeah.
He did a lot of sales.
What drives him is money, right? No.
Mm,
Okay. Y'all talk.
I don't know what drives him. I think just the desire to work and be busy and be active and produce and get the job done. I've never seen him be about the money.
You all feel like family is important to him, though.
Yes and no. What do you feel about it?
I mean, I just see that and maybe this is more on you guys than on him, but that, all you guys have been so close to him all this time and part of his life on a regular basis. And I think he does want that.
But I think that's only been in the last part of his life when it was more of a need for him than anything else. Because I went years where I wouldn't see him, and I couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't
So,
hear from him either.
That did nothing. So I never once got the feeling from Dad that family was important.
Okay.
I think
never-
his family was important. His sisters
But even then,
and one brother.
and the way that all went down with his family, I don't see if that's his idea of importance. I'd hate to see something that's unimportant.
Totally.
But why was he that way? And that's what happened to him that made him respond that way, that made him be that way, that made him isolate himself, that made him pull away. That I don't know.
Well, I mean, he was pretty far down the list of siblings. He was near the end. So even though he had a bunch of brothers, they were almost a different generation than him. And so they were older, doing things and moving into the adult world long before he was ready. So I don't know that he got much, if any, guidance from them.
How old was he when his father passed?
So I was 1, so that would have made him 31.
Oh,
Pretty
he-
young.
yeah, but still, he had a lot of years. He had his old formative years, teen years, early 20s to get it. And I don't know anything about it.
I would imagine that everybody who turned 18 was pushed out of the house because it was so crowded.
I agree.
And you don't know anything about Leopold? Because I just found out new stuff about him I didn't know either.
I don't know. I know he came up here with his brothers and they all worked and bought one house and brought one family up, and then they all worked and bought a second house and brought that family up. But I mean, that's all. I don't know anything other than that.
What kind of a dad he was.
I do. I know nothing.
All I know is that there was conflict between him and Grandma Concha because he liked to spend his off-duty time at the bar. So counterbalance that with he did successfully complete 25 years at the mill. So he was the breadwinner. She was home raising children. He worked hard. You know, there was thankless, dangerous, hard work, hard labor at the mill. I mean, he did it for 25 years. So it's perfectly reasonable that the exposure to the chemicals, coal, and all the other hazards at the steel mill were part of the reason for his early demise. But there's also evidence to support that perhaps he was an alcoholic.
Yes.
And so Richard and Joe Dingy were at the same time in Pueblo taxi drivers. And sometimes while they were out working, they would see their dad on the side of the road, in somebody's yard or on the sidewalk,
Oh, wow.
either, trying to catch his breath or passed out, and they would put him in a cab and take him home. There's also stories about Grandma wouldn't put up with it. So when he got home, she'd have him sleep out on the back porch. You ain't coming into my bed.
He also made his own liquor. Grandpa
I don't know if it
talked
was
about that.
liquor. I think it was beer.
Beer or wine, maybe. I don't know, but
I think it
yeah.
was beer.
Yeah, I'm a few Mexican drinking.
Yeah, he made beer in a big vat. But the problem is he couldn't wait till it was done.
Right.
And so, it takes about 3 months for a batch of beer to be, fermented, bottled, and
Ready to drink.
finished and ready to drink. So it was usually gone within a month. So it wouldn't even make it into the bottles. They would just start scooping cups out of the vat, and either by himself or with his friends over. At least he wasn't at the bar, but
You never knew any of
I
that.
never knew anything.
the beer would be gone.
And Grandma Concha was busy cooking, taking care of the kids, and making money. She would give some of that food away for,
Well, not give.
sell.
Oh, she's
Yeah.
old.
She would sell her tamales.
She was more productive and successful to me at that point in time. Opposite of Leopold.
No, because he was working 25 years in a row at the mill.
Well,
So I can't discount that she wasn't working her tail off because of 10 kids
Yeah.
of all different
11.
ages.
11.
And then, even though some of them were involved to a certain degree, she was the main cook. And that's, it's almost nonstop from breakfast till after dinner.
You do everything by scratch, and
Yeah.
it is.
Grandpa said that he got picked on by his older brothers, and Grandma Concha would tell the older siblings to spank the younger siblings, and because she was busy, and that didn't sit too well with your dad, and he thought he was being picked on a lot. So he says that a lot.
But he also said that they would all have to be lined up and Big Brother would swat them. So he wasn't alone in being disciplined. But he
So
did
would
say,
that have been Joaquin then?
Yeah. he did say that his older brothers would, I don't know where, the playground, the park, I don't know where, but they would push him into fights against other little
No.
kids.
No, I knew that, and I thought it was in a barn, and they would bet on that.
Yeah, like dog fights.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so he was there to
I do know that, or I've heard that. Fact or fiction, I have no clue, but I had heard that.